Okay, now that we've had some practice converting percent to fraction to decimals and kind of back and forth, we're going to move on to trying to calculate percents of a number mentally. And actually, if you watch this video and the next one, you should be able you'll be able to calculate any percent of any number mentally without any trouble at all. Okay, but first we have to have some foundations, and the three foundations we're going to look at right now are 50% of a number, 25%, and 10% of a number. Okay, 50% of a number. Let's kind of take a look at what we've got here. 50% of a number means that you're looking for half of that number. You're cutting it in half. And I think pretty much everybody knows in order to cut a number in half, you have to do this. You have to divide by 2. Okay, nothing too tricky. So for example, if we're finding 50% of 12, we're going to take 12, we're going to divide it by 2. That gives us 6. So 50% of 12 is 6. Another example, we got 50% of 36. That means you're going to take 36, you're going to divide it by 2. And if you did that, you should get 18. Okay. We're going to do some practice with these. So actually, you know what? Let's do some practice with it right now. Let's do some finding 50% of a number. Okay, so let's try and find 50% of 24. I'm going to do these. You pause the video at any point. I'll do a little pause before I give the answer. So 50% of 24 is going to be 12. Okay. 50% of, we'll do another even number. 68. 50% of 68 is 34. You bet. Okay. Let's go 50% of, let's go 35. That one's a little trickier. Okay, now let me show you how you do that. It's still half, right? You're still dividing by 2, and you can do it through long division if you want, but this is how I do it. I take my 30, not the 35, but 30. I know half of 30 is 15. Half of 5 is 2.5, and I add those together. That'll give me 17.5. So if you got that one, good on you. That's awesome. Okay. All right, let's go to 25% of a number. 25% of a number is finding a quarter of that number. A quarter of it. And if you're thinking money, a quarter, if you got a quarter in your pocket, how many of those do you need to make a dollar? You need 4 of them. Okay? So we're finding a quarter of a number. That means you're going to divide by 4. Okay? So for example, 25% of 12, again, same numbers. You're going to take 12, you're going to divide it. Sorry, we're doing this one right here. 25% of 12. That means you're going to take 12, you're going to divide it by 4, and that gives you 3. 25% of 36, that means you take 36 and you divide that by 4. That'll give you 9. Okay. Now, some people, occasionally, people are like, oh, I'd rather, may not know their 4 facts very well, right? So if you take, let's take 12. If you take 12 and instead do this, you divide it by 2 to get 6, and then you divide that by 2 again, that'll still give you your answer. So for 25%, you can either divide by 4 or you can divide by 2 twice. Doesn't matter to me, whichever way works for you. But that definitely is an option for you. Okay. Okay, let's look at a couple of examples. Let's see if you can run through a few of these. I'm going to use a different color here. Okay, let's go 25% of, let's go 44. That's a nice easy one. Okay, so you're going to divide 44 by 4. You should get 11. Okay, let's go 25% of, let's go 36. Give you a second here. you should get 9. And let's do one more. 25% of, let's go 148. Okay. And again, this is one where you might want to break it up a bit. What's 100 divided by 4? 100 divided, well, let me give you the answer first. Let's see what it is. That is 37, isn't it? I think. 3, 6, 9, 12, 20. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So you might want to do it in steps, right? If I was doing this in steps, I'd divide 100 by 4. 100 divided by 4 is 25. 40 divided by 4 is 10. And 8 divided by 4 is 2. And then you add it all up. That's 37. Okay. So don't be afraid to do things in steps. Okay. All right. Okay, let's move on. Now 10%. Actually, this is my favorite one. How much of a geek am I? Okay, so 10% of a number means you're looking for a tenth of it, 1/10 of it. And yet, you guessed it, you're dividing by 10. But what I want you to do is look at these questions very carefully. 10% of 12, that is 12 divided by 10. It's 1.2 or 1 2/10. 36 divided by 10 is 3.6 or 3 6/10. What is happening here every time? Let me show you. And I'm going to write it a little bigger over here just as an example. So let's do 12 divided by 10. Now, first of all, whenever you have a whole number, like the 12 there, whenever you have a whole number, we don't write down the decimal, but there is a decimal there. Where is the decimal? It is right, I'm going to do it in blue here so you don't lose track of what's going on. It is right there. That's where the decimal is. When you divide by 10, doesn't matter what the number is, when you divide by 10, you move that decimal over one space. So that means our answer is 1 2/10 or 1.2. Okay? Very, very simple. So look at this one right here. You have 36 divided by 10. We just moved that decimal over one space to get our answer. So with that in mind, I want you to try these questions. Okay, let's go. 10% of, let's try an easy one first, 54. That will be 5.4. We just took this decimal here and we moved it over one space. Okay. Let's go 10%. Oh, poop. Let's go 10% of, how about this one? 37.5. What's our answer to that one? Same thing. You're doing exactly the same thing. You're taking that decimal, you're moving it one space over. So your answer is 3 7/75. You just move the decimal. That's it. It doesn't matter how crazy your number is, or how big or how small. You just move the decimal. Let's do one more. 10% of sorry, I'm cramming it in there. I should have changed colors. Sorry. So 10% of 9,000ths. You're doing the same thing, guys. Feel free to pause if you want a moment here. You're moving this decimal over one space. So your answer is 0.0009, which is 0 9/10,000. So it doesn't matter what your number is. You do the same thing every single time. So what you want to do here is you want to pause the video because it's going to end right away and try these 12 questions and see how you do. Let me write the answers for you. So pause it because I'm going to write the answers right away here. And there you have it.